It's important, these small little steps, in for manifesting at its best, being in the here and now. And that's the hardest thing, I think, for any of us in our society and everything right now, is to be present and be present with that manifestation.
Welcome to Tapping In. I'm your host, Marisa Grieco, and today's guest is Ann Porter. She's a psychic medium, a healer that connects with earth energy, galactic energy. She's absolutely incredible. And today we're going to focus on sacred rituals and learning how to use tools for you guys to connect to that cosmic energy. Welcome, Ann.
Thank you.
So good to have you here.
It's great to be here.
One thing I love about you is how you host these incredible evenings where we do rituals, we practice sacred medicine, you teach us tools.
Mm-hmm.
How did you get started with all of that?
Being connected to anything metaphysical kind of pushes you in this direction where you're bringing up energy in a way that resonates with you, right? So for me, and my Celtic ancestry is what made me have the connection basically to the wheel of the year. And that's usually what I'm doing, is bringing you in the group of people that come to my house during some sort of celebration with the wheel of the year.
So how does the wheel of the year play into your celebrations?
I tap into the wheel of the year because of my Celtic ancestry. The wheel of the year is about the different seasons and how the sun revolves, or we revolve around the sun, and how things change and how life begins and ends with every season that comes. So I bring in the wheel of the year, and there are 4 major celebrations, and then we have 4 fire festivals. The fire festivals happen in between each one, and the first one that comes is the winter solstice, which is the returning of the light. Okay. Then we have the spring equinox, which is everything about new fertility and planting and that type of a thing. Go into the summer, which is the summer solstice, and that brings in the energy of harvest coming. Then we end it with the autumn equinox, which then is all the harvesting has been done, and we're preparing for the long winter that's coming. In between, we have the different fire festivals that we do. Okay. And that's where I have some of our celebrations and bringing that information.
How do you incorporate, how do you know what flowers to bring in or what crystals? You're really good at different times of the year to know.
Some of it's reading, some of it's using my intuition, what feels right. I go through and I love to work with herbs and plants and anything that's coming from the earth besides the crystals. So I will go out and I will wild forage. And I use an app called Seek. And if I see something, I will identify it, and then I catalog it, and I will actually go up to the plant and ask the plant if it's okay if I take some from it. Then usually I'll harvest some of that and bring it back, and also use it along with organic herbs that I will purchase from, I think it's Rose Mountain is who I purchase them from, or Mountain Rose, that's what it is. And whatever I know from the properties of the plants and what's ever happening with what we're trying to manifest or what we're bringing in or what we're recognizing at that time will be what I put out for use for everyone. And along with the plants, I supply certain candle colors for everyone because I do work with fire. And because I'm working with the energies of the wheel of the year, there are 4 fire festivals. So I include that as part of the energy. And we often end up doing our meditation at the end where we sit around my fireplace and we all kind of connect our energy at that time and send out our manifestations for that night.
Is there a book that you use? This is all Celtic practice that you do, correct?
Yes, and I would suggest anyone that's feeling, and that's just the thing is, I enjoy bringing everyone up that isn't necessarily Celtic, they all have a different background than what I have. And some resonate with it, and then some resonate only because it's something new to learn and to do. And I hope that they take away from what I'm doing and use their own connection with the earth. So for me, yes, it's been a matter of studying the deities of the Celtics. I also look at the natural herbs that they have there, which I can't always get. So when I say there, I'm speaking of Scotland and Ireland, which is a great majority of my heritage. So, and I've been to both places, and I try to use the energy of that to be supplied in with there. But the studying has to do with the books, and I can't really give you an exact book only for the fact of I have so many books.
Now, what are some small rituals that we can do throughout the day to kind of connect us to this energy?
So my suggestion, or what I do, is always wake up with gratitude. So it's a matter of being thankful for everything. I mean, being thankful for waking up, being thankful for taking your first breath, being thankful knowing that the spiritual energy is all around you. In my beginning of my day is I normally go out and I take my walks and I walk out in nature and I ground myself in nature and I connect. So I also feed the hummingbirds in my yard. I feed the other birds in my yard. I supply anything that has to do with nature I connect to. So we've also spoke about the Fae, which comes from my Celtic background. And as long as you're taking care of nature, they'll be a part of your energy in a good way.
Yes. How, if someone doesn't realize that maybe the fairies are trying to speak to them, what's one tip that you would give to somebody that wants to connect to that energy?
Well, one of the best ways to connect to the Fae energy, be a good caretaker of the earth. And it's definitely through meditation, and do a meditation outside. You need to be in their surroundings. You need to be connected to the trees, to the flowers, all of that.
So for somebody who feels like they've lost touch with their own magic.
I go a lot, especially when I had students. We've gone through this a lot because no matter how much, even you and I are very much, this is something daily for us and what we're into. But still, life interferes.
Right.
And when it interferes, we can pull ourselves away and realize, oh my goodness, when was the last time I meditated? When was the last time I got connected? The only thing you could do is just, tell yourself it's okay to keep starting again. Just go right back into what you did. Take a break. I always apologize to my guides.
Yeah.
Sorry. They know me well enough that it's okay. Yeah. And I'll go into a meditation or connection either at nighttime, usually when I've called back in, and that's when I know I've been disconnected because I feel my energy is scattered. So before going to bed as a ritual, I try to always call my energy back to me, the energy that has been
splattered.
Either somebody siphoned off of me or I've given out freely or wherever it's gone. I call it all back in, and then that's very grounding, and reconnect that way. And just doing that can get you back into the swing of things, and then waking up again in the morning and having gratitude. Even if you have gratitude for I'm just glad I'm alive,
Right. Have a blanket, have a pillow.
Oh, yeah, I'm happy with that. But at least it's showing something, and it almost like wakes up spirit right away.
Now, what about crystals? Do you charge your crystals? Do you program your crystals?
Do I program them? I don't really program them because I know what they're going to give me, and I have some crystals that are with me all the time. I will use the moon's energy most often, not so much the sun's energy, unless I feel it's a crystal that resonates with the sun energy. But it's usually the moon crystals that I will put out there. And I let the moon or Luna, the goddess Luna, clear away anything that has been, causing any type of conflict with that, or I can feel it's off. And I don't put them all out. I used to. I remember when I first got crystals, my husband would look out at my backyard and it would be like, what are you doing? It takes you an hour to put these all back, and it's like, there's certain ones now. But in my space where I work with the crystals and the energy, I will have, of course, always selenite sitting around, keeping them clear and that type of a thing. But if I'm going to have a celebration and have somebody coming over that we're going to be working on certain things, then I will use the moon's energy and say, hey, bring something in here.
So in the Celtic traditions, there's a lot of symbols people use. Do you find yourself being drawn to certain symbols or
using sigils? Like I prefer to use... If I do, I would prefer to use a sigil that I have been drawn to make because I'm being led that way by spirit if it's necessary. I will draw them into the ether. I always cast a circle before we start.
So when you
anything.
say I do it in the ether, explain that for somebody that doesn't understand. You're like, before we start speaking our language.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, isn't it? So when I go to have a gathering and we're all coming and I'm feeling that urge to have a symbol, but I will create the symbol ahead of time because I'm being led to do that ahead of time. And I will cast my circle either using my hand or I will use a wand or a crystal. And I will cast the circle from all the directions, put a protection around everybody that's coming through. So that way we only have positivity coming in. And if I feel drawn for the sigil, I will draw it into the air depending on where it needs to be. Now, if it needs to be over what we're going to be using, or if it needs to be over where we're going to be having our meditation, that's where I will feel that energy to be placed. But it's something that they're given to me and it's something that's put together right then and there.
And what do you use them for? Like, is it
to bring stronger energy down, to bring maybe a deity in, and I know not everybody works with deities.
Yeah, but that's okay.
Yeah, and this is what I do, and I don't expect everybody to work with the deity, but this is how I do it. And I will pull that energy in to work with us, especially if it's a celebration, because usually there's a deity that resides over that type of a celebration to begin with. But usually that's what it is. So if it's bringing in the energy of fertility and rebirth and bringing in newness, which would be Beltane, if we go to do Beltane, that's the energy I would be pulling in, and that's what I would be drawing. How it looks would all depend on what's happening that day with me.
Excellent. So somebody can use this daily for themselves, like if you're trying to draw in or like manifest something.
Absolutely. Put it into your manifestation. If you're feeling,
so how would you start?
No pun intended to be drawn to it.
Yeah.
Yes, use that. You can draw it on a piece of paper and set it underneath, and I call it a working, and place it underneath there. Or I write a petition out of, and I have you guys do that when you come and we have the celebration, and you write out what it is you already have. You never write out, I want.
Right.
You want to write out, this is mine. This is what I have. You can draw that into that. You can draw it over the top. You can draw it underneath. You can make it a part of it. If you're using a candle, draw the sigil into the candle. It brings the energy in. If you feel a strong urge to do that, it isn't necessary,
So intention, have really strong intention.
Everything we do is intention.
So start there.
Everything. So what I do when everybody's gathering for the spiritual connections to the earth and everything, I am just supplying other tools for everyone to really focus in. Everything I put out isn't necessary.
Yeah.
But to have those tools to really put focus on what it is you're manifesting, that's where it helps. And it helps draw that in and helps bring that energy in to work with.
And then how do you ground it? Is there a next step you do?
to ground it, I ground it beforehand.
Okay, that's good. So
yeah, just all that grounding,
just so that everybody
and
out there
especially
knows.
yourself. Ground yourself. Connect to the earth.
Okay.
If you need to, taking the deep breaths in, planting your feet on the ground. A lot of times before everybody comes over and spends time with me, I'm out front on my front lawn with my feet in the grass, grounding myself and just breathing and taking in the energy and releasing anything that doesn't need to be with me at that time, and telling the spirits of the earth, fill me with joy. Let's do this now. Let's make this special and fun. And they do.
I love that. I think you're such a great reminder of taking the time and doing these small little steps.
It's important, these small little steps, in for manifesting at its best, being in the here and now. And that's the hardest thing, I think, for any of us in our society and everything right now, is to be present and be present with that manifestation. I can't even say how important that part of it is, being present in the moment and being present in our lives. I mean, that's the older we get, the more we realize how much more we need to be present and not worrying about this over here or being despondent about what's happened in the past. What we're looking for is to make the energy, the magical energy that we have out there, work for us. And the only way to do that is to be here and now.
Yeah.
To be in it.
I think one great tip is to get into your senses. Right? Because a lot of the times you're so much in your head, but if you can start to smell the flowers, touch them, right? Like you talked about the grounding.
The grounding.
What can I hear?
But see, that's what I'm doing when I'm going out for my walks. There's a lot of times I have gatherings that people come over, and before we get to working on things, I won't even know what I'm going to be doing that night. And so I will go out for my walk and commune with nature, listen to what's going on, talk to the animals that are around me, feel the plants, smell what's going on, and then I get downloads that comes from that. It just starts coming in and I go, yep. That's all I needed to know.
Yeah. I love that trust. And I think every day, the more we do our work, the more we realize, just trust. Trust.
I think trust is one of the big things. People, I think, though, need to give themselves a break.
Yeah, break, space.
Well, a break on being hard on themselves of, I'm not keeping up with this. I'm not doing this all the time. Spirit's not going to answer me because I haven't talked to them.
They don't like me.
Yeah, they don't like me anymore because I haven't been in touch. And it's not true. It's not true.
It's not true.
They're just sitting there waiting for they're
right there. They're right there for you.
She'll get back to me in a little bit, and I'll be here. I'll answer her when she calls.
I also think it's our nervous system. Like I find that when I get really tense or I get in my head, it's like you really tense up your body and you feel so separate. And when you can slowly just start to surrender, be more present.
But when you're caught up in your head, isn't that usually because of the things that are going on in your life at the time?
Right. And you're just like too tight. Right. And then the programs get bigger. And then you start to feel more and more disconnected from yourself. But what I love about this work that we do and the surrender, it's so playful. Right? It's so magical. And it's just us connecting back to something that we already know.
Yes.
I know we make such a big deal about this, of learning it, and where, you not even like you got to do it, but it's not separate. You've been doing this.
Everyone has.
Yeah. For your whole life.
It's a part of who they are. It's a natural part of who they are.
It's just coming back now.
They just have to want to tune in to it.
Tune in.
Tapping in. Sorry, I should have used tapping in.
We're tapping in.
Oh, we're tapping in energy right now. But yeah, and I really don't think there are some souls right now that are supposed to be connecting at this time. It's not their path to be doing that at this time. And that's okay. You know?
I think that's the biggest message. Wherever you're at is totally fine, because we all came here for different lessons.
Absolutely.
And some people, they came to be in the third dimension and learn in the contrast. And they don't necessarily want to be connected to the higher frequencies. And again, that's totally fine in the sense that it's not part of your...
Especially if you live in a household where they don't, right?
Where you're surrounded by people
that don't. And they look at you and they go, boy, it sure makes her happy, but I'm not connecting to
Who
that
took
right
her
now.
out of the box?
Yeah, exactly.
Who dropped this baby?
Exactly. It's exactly what it is.
Oh my gosh. Well, that was so much incredible information. So many great tips.
Good.
You were such an honor to have on the show.
I am thrilled and honored that you asked me to come.
I hope we get to come back. You're going to have to come back.
If you invite me, certainly we can get down and dirty about some other things. How about that?
I love that.
Yeah.
Until next time, you guys, keep tapping in.
If you want more, please join our community at marisagrieco.com.